Guys, welcome to today's video. I got the clips here. This is literally just a raw behind the scenes kind of back day with my buddy Ron and I. Now I don't film all the sets. I try to capture a couple, generally like a warm-up type set, and then kind of, if we can, maybe a last set or a set to failure. But the goal is just to show you kind of like the day-to-day training, the intensity that it takes to build a respectable physique, and you know, the exercise selection that we do. I'll talk a little bit about that in the video. I'll give you some insights into some other of the details. But Ron is a very successful, previously natural pro bodybuilder. He hasn't competed in well over, gosh, I think it's been more than a decade now. But he was winning natural pro shows, so very good competitive bodybuilder. I myself competed as recently as last year, also earning natural pro status years ago, but I just compete at this point for the fun and the enjoyment of dieting down, considering competing again this year. So it does kind of help with the focus. If you've been watching my daily shorts, I've been doing an hour of cardio every day, documenting that part of the process, but I will be doing some full days of eating videos, and I just want to show you guys behind the scenes, like raw day-to-day stuff. So let me know what you'd like to see in these type of videos. I do enjoy the shooting, the editing, the uploading and sharing, as long as I know, you know, that it's being well received. So I'd appreciate any comments below if you're enjoying this type of footage, because it's, you know, it's not my normal thing to bring a camera into the gym. I've been doing this with a phone. I'll probably never be much of a tripod person unless I'm in like a private gym. But, you know, in these kind of public settings, I don't mind pulling out the camera for a few sets. But yeah, let me know if you're enjoying it, and I hope you guys are having a great day. All right, so we're going to start the workout, and I think I start almost all back workouts with an assisted pull-up. For me, I had a shoulder injury a couple of years ago, and rehabbing, I really learned to use these assisted type machines. And what I found was it really taught me how to engage my back much better. So I always start with this, a few sets of this, descending order. You know, I start with a little extra weight and I get down to very low weight. But I find that it gets a lot of blood in the back, the shoulders, the arms, and it really allows me to feel like, you know, the blood in the back, so that I can be warm and ready to go. And also, like, the mind muscle connection really is better when you've actually, you know, got some blood to the area that you're going to be training. So yeah, I just start with some very light reps and then gradually progress. Now, one thing about back that I've noticed is that most people train it pretty incorrectly as far as how they move their body and position their body and what muscles are used. You know, the shoulders and the arms really like to take over in a movement like this. I've really learned to isolate the back, especially in like pull-ups and lat pull-down type movements. And I've noticed a big difference in the shape and the size of my back. Now, it's still not going to be super impressive to anybody, but when you see your own physique changing, you recognize like the steps that you've taken to improve. And so this is Ron. We did a final set. So the theme of this workout was, we kind of got a good warm-up, a couple good activation sets, maybe a set or two for volume, and then we did kind of like one all-out set, and maybe even added a drop. I've never done this row variation before. This is Crunch Fitness in Land O'Lakes. I'm going to join here because I really like the equipment. But for me, this was kind of an experimental workout. Now, my philosophy on training back is that you've got to continually change up the angles of the back. So you'll notice we go one vertical movement, one horizontal movement, one vertical movement, one horizontal. I also will change the grip. So I'll do two different variations of vertical, a wider grip and a more narrow grip. And likewise, horizontal, a wider grip and a narrower grip, right? So this is what I would consider kind of like an upright wide row, chest supported. For me, I love the chest support because it takes the stress off my lower back. And I can really just focus on, if you look here, rear delts, all the way across the upper back. You know, there's probably some traps being used in there, but that upper back area, everything between shoulder to shoulder, is really what I feel grow on this. And it's why you'll never really see me train rear delts, because my rear delts get a lot of activation on back day, and I feel like they're slightly overdeveloped, at least previously, compared to the rest of my back. So they get a lot involved. This is Ron. Ron is, I believe, 5'9", around 215 pounds as of recording this video. I am 6'3", around 215 pounds. So Ron is much more dense than I am. He's a human bowling ball. It's why he was so successful in bodybuilding. He's just got the right amount of muscle and structure and density. He's very thick. So it's great to train with him because, he pushes me. We each have our strengths, but I would say overall he's, much more dense than me, especially in the lower body. This is my favorite movement for building thick, wide lats. I noticed when I started adding these a few years ago, my lats got much thicker. Now, what I'm talking about when I talk about thick lats, it's the part right under the armpit. If you're looking at this video, you see the part of the arm, where the lat connects to the the shoulder. That part got a lot thicker. You can actually slightly see like a striation or a separation there that I didn't previously have. I also just focus on bringing the elbows down to the floor, trying to disengage the biceps. Ron does it slightly different. He kind of gets scooted way up. That's the thing. I'm 6'3", he's 5'9". So, we each have different things biomechanically that we're doing, but successful in our own ways. And so I think the last set I did was a warm up. And I think on this set, what I'm going to do is, I think I start really heavy, like basically at body weight, 205 or 210 pounds or something like that. And when I do a set like this, I don't really worry about how many reps I'm getting. I worry about, am I engaging the muscle properly? And I'm really just trying to focus on intensity. And when I can no longer move it, I'll do a couple shortened partials or lengthened partials. That's become very trendy. But, bodybuilders have been doing this stuff for decades. That's nothing new. And then once I do that, I drop the weight by, I think I went from 210 to 145, if I remember correctly. And now here, again, I'm not counting the reps. I'm literally just trying to feel the muscle, get the blood, keep everything active. And that's the final set for this movement. Like we say, last set, best set. But the goal with each movement is to hit all the muscle fibers from that angle and then move on. And here's me with Ron. I was actually having a little bit of fun filming Ron today. I think you'll see a little bit here. I get a little bit artsy with the footage. I try to stay pretty zoomed in on him and not get a bunch of the members. Of course, there's no policy against filming people, but, I'm trying not to get, a bunch of people involved. And this is Ron's last set. There we go. Come on. Yeah, Ron trains with a lot of intensity. It's really fun to train with him. Now, this is a machine that they don't have at the gym that I normally train at. It's kind of like an underhand Yates row. And I'm fairly strong at these. So what I like about this is we're talking about vertical versus horizontal. This is the horizontal. This is the low row. So if you watch the elbow, it comes back. It's in a weakened position when it's fully stretched. So you got to be careful not to let the biceps and the rear delts take over. You've got to almost think of it like an arching movement. But if you pull down and back from the elbows, it's really going to fire those lats the whole way through. So overall, it's just a great movement. It's really isolates the lat if you do it properly. I think this was my heaviest set, 2.25. Now here's one thing you'll see. I'm 6'3", and if you notice the machine at the top is kind of bouncing, that's because I can't really get a full stretch. I should have probably, and I'll do this next time if we train back here, I'll put a pad on the chest support so that I'm back another inch or two. It's pretty typical for me. I'm tall, but I'm not that tall. 6'3" is like tall, but I have friends that are 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and I feel like they couldn't even work out on some of this equipment. So I always find it odd when I'm like maxing out the length on things because I'm not, I guess I'm taller than the average gym goer, but yeah, there are definitely a lot of people taller than me. So this is a pullover. Now I usually do these on a cable system, but this machine is offering a little bit of a different, alternative, and I wanted to try it out. I really did feel it much better when I used my hands to drive the elbows back versus just using the pads for the elbows. Again, this is a lat position where you really stretch the lat and you isolate it. So I recommend if you're not doing any variation of pullovers to add some in. You can either do it here or on a cable machine. But for me, we ended up doing a total of 5 back movements, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, 1 each wide and narrow. And then we finished with this machine. Now this is me just having fun with Ron, kind of getting creative with the angles. Like I said, guys, I get a little bit bored with the camera. I have a creative side. So we see Ron with his gristle face. That's what we call any face where you are really trying. And then he wanted to do some shrugs. I don't do a lot of shrugs. My traps grow rather easily. I tried the seated position, but it was hurting my lower back to sit in that position, so I ended up doing them standing. But yeah, the traps are a long and thick muscle. They start at the bottom of the neck and they go all the way down to the middle to the lower part of your back. So you can hit them from different angles. On back day, you don't typically hit the upper traps, and that's all I was trying to do here was just isolate that upper inner trap to thicken it up a little bit. Yeah, overall pretty happy with how I'm looking, how I'm feeling. We finished up with one movement for the abs. I typically don't use this thing, but I'll say I definitely felt a really intense burn in my rectus abdominis, especially the upper divisions. So I may start adding these in. I love the machines for the weighted ab crunches. So the one thing I do like about this crunch is there seems to be a place where you can kind of get some footage. The lighting, not very favorable. I mean, you're making a white guy look really, really white. But here's, I can tell you, this makes me really happy. Seeing how much my back has developed. Again, probably not going to impress people on YouTube because there's so many freaky physiques on YouTube. But looking at my back when I started my first bodybuilding competition, my coach literally said to me, you need to build a back. I'm doing that. And that's what's fun to see. And that's all you can ask for. All right. We did a nice little back workout, didn't we, Ron?
Yeah, we'll turn up the volume here a little bit when I can stand. Any deadlifts, heavy things. But it was a good one, yeah.
It's never good enough for Ron. Yeah, we did a bunch of back movements, which you saw. Now we're going to get a little post-workout meal, which I'll share. Yeah, so with Ron, we typically just do like one body part, like back and traps. Usually I'm doing more of a pull day, so I would do some arms, but since Ron and I like to do arms together, I'm sure we'll do an arm day.
For sure.
When are you training tomorrow?
I don't know yet.
All right.
Take some off. But this place has been nice too. Different equipment that we haven't used in a while. So
yeah,
some acclimation.
Oddly enough, for a franchise gym, it's got a private feel. Like the people that own it or the managers, the trainers are all talking to us. So yeah, I'm gonna join this crunch here. This is the one, I don't know what the
Land O'Lakes, right?
Land O'Lakes off of 54 here in Lutz, Land O'Lakes area. So yeah.
Huge parking lot too, which is nice.
Big parking lot. Well, it used to be a grocery store. This used to be, I think, a Winn-Dixie until Publix put them out of business.
EOS, you have to park on the road.
Yeah, well, EOS is crazy. They would fill this parking lot.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but yeah. Expansive. It's so expansive. All right.
That's what non-electric sounds
He
like.
just remote started his car.
Balls is running, you just can't tell.
My car is always running. That's the secret.